Yeah, it's an interesting story because there are predominantly to enter India, right? As a GCC, there are three ways. One is you bootstrap. You completely start from scratch. Second is you try to do a BOT model. Build, operate, and transfer using some of the partners. Large SI partners. And third is obviously acquisitions, right? We chose the third way because one of the important things that was driving our business is the domain knowledge that we carry, because as we are a government technology company, most of our customers are governments, public sector enterprises. So some of the solutions like land, property, asset management, geospatial, communities, things like that. So therefore, we thought getting a ready-made knowledge, which has these capabilities, would be the right start, and that's how we acquired these two companies who had the enterprise, EIM, software capabilities, and then we acquired McLaren, which had the transport, software, capabilities, and that's how we entered India, and that's how we started expanding our GCC, building on the capabilities that we have inside the organization. I can tell you what we are doing, in terms of, some of these, areas. Now, when we started off, one of the important things that we looked at is what are the key capabilities that our group companies needed, right? And resoundingly, the answer was engineering capabilities, right, across all of the products. But can we take all of the products in one go as we start? Definitely the answer is no. So therefore, we started off with EIM and transport, some of these products which actually provide technology to public transportation, whether it is metros or railroad, buses, everything, in the public transportation, including the waterways. Similarly, our documentation management system for the land property, where you buy a house, you need the land records, or maybe a builder is building a community of homes, a colony of homes, right? They go through a number of things like identifying a land, and then getting the necessary approvals, and then getting the architecture designs, and then building the homes, and eventually handing over the homes to the homeowners. So all of that process requires some level of highly sophisticated software which is compliant with the local laws and various regulatory affairs. So therefore, we've our Indian team has been, the GCC team has been really, lived up to that expectation, in terms of, number one, freeing the bandwidth of some of the senior people that we have in the UK and Europe, so that they can focus on building some of the newest products, or maybe take our products to the next level, for example AI and cloud and some of those things for which we didn't have enough bandwidth with our leadership and the highly technical team. So the India team actually, the GCC team actually removed that, actually, gained those productivities and were able to take on some of these product developments, building, products, building features of products, putting those products, features into production, and then eventually, talking to the customers and supporting them as well, releasing the most important technical bandwidth that was needed for us to grow as a company. Yeah, I'll answer your second question first, and then get to what role we are playing. So we, like I said, we started off with engineering, capabilities, building engineering capabilities, trying to develop software, mostly in the back end, and support the software, support the customers, in terms of bug fixing, sometimes developing new features, all of that. But I think, over the last 5 years, we've actually moved up the value chain now. We're not just doing engineering, but we are also now doing functions like product management. We are doing project management. We are doing customer success. We are doing PMO. We are doing, the whole cloud management. We are doing data center management. So there's, and not to mention, all the backend services like HR, payroll, finance, all of those shared service functions, right? So which are necessary to run the company, locally as well as globally. But I think we have moved up the value chain, so we are not really leveraging a cost arbitrage anymore, but we are now doing more of product management, release management, developing new use cases. Especially we are working on some AI use cases. Very recently there are 3 use cases that we are working on, and most of the development part of that AI is going to actually happen from our GCC team, while the architecture and everything is from the UK headquarters. To answer your first question, which again, the answer I gave you, that actually puts a shade on what kind of role that we are playing. Now, I can tell you very clearly, when we started off with those acquisitions, 2 acquisitions, we were really a very small team. We were about 28 to 30, 40 people. Today we are about, we are reaching to 250. That's what we are reaching for. And then we have really grand plans for 2027. So now the headquarters actually have the confidence in this team, that they can not just support the products, but they have the capability to build the products, and they also have the capability to now innovate and develop new products for new markets. For example, we have recently entered the Middle Eastern market, and we've set up a data center in Morocco. And the expectation is that a lot of those services, a lot of those products, and customers would be supported out of the GCC. That's the confidence that the parent organization now have in the GCC, that we are now evolving from just being a support center or a small development center to now an innovation center.